Okay, people, I get it. You comment every week. You want to see the Mustang. And so here we are, the Mustang. Let's just review. It takes 18 months or so to get a project car done if you have professionals do it. Trust me, I know this is not my first rodeo. So just to go back and see where we've been and where we're at, Maximum Motorsports did a full chassis build on the car. It has independent rear suspension, it has a torsion differential, it has all Delrin bushings, it has a tubular K-member front suspension, it has custom valve Bilsteins, it has the complete geometry of the car has been changed. It's been widened 6 inches, HRE 18 by 10.5 wheels, Continental 295 R compound tires on every corner. The engine is a Ford Racing crate engine. It's a 302R GT40, aluminum heads. They say in the catalog it makes 385 horsepower. It has Cobra brakes from the 04 Terminator. It has a complete Terminator Cobra steering system. It still has the T5 gearbox, but it was a brand new T5 gearbox. And I have a 355 final drive ratio. There's the Maximum Motorsports cage, Recaro seats, Sabelt harnesses, and of course I have to thank Maximum Motorsports for doing crazy work on the chassis, RDB LA for doing the paint and body with those Chicane 23 flares, and then BBi Autosport for doing the gauges, the interior, and the fine tuning. And speaking of fine tuning, there is a reason that when people send me cars for tuned, I tell them to not even bother calling until they have 1,000 miles on the car. And that's because I want them to do what I'm doing now, which is development driving. When you finish a project, you got to put miles on it and you got to see what happens. And so when I first got the car back and it was done, it was running about 20 degrees hot. The cooling system could not keep up. So I drove it for a while and went back to BBi Autosport, installed a Mishimoto dual pass radiator, an Edelbrock water pump, and an additional power steering cooler to further reduce the load on the radiator. Now it's running about 25 degrees cooler. I brought it back from BBi, had 2 great days of driving, and then the driver's side header cracked a weld right where it comes off the engine. This wasn't exactly a surprise because I'd already cracked the passenger side header like 6 months ago. They welded it back up. So now, unfortunately, I have an exhaust leak, but I still wanted to do this video and I still wanted to go in the canyons and see how the car does. So it sounds a bit off, and I'm not happy about it, but we'll get it fixed. It's all part of the process, and I also don't want to run the motor as hard as I can because I don't want it to get worse. I just want to be able to we're going to see how the suspension, the chassis work, the brakes, the steering all do as we run down the back of Mulholland, but I'm not going to be using the full power of the engine. Just because I would like to keep it all in one piece until I can get this last thing fixed, and then we should be good to go, I hope. So it sounds a little off and I apologize. Shifting about 4,000 RPM. It's running nice and cool. You may hear a bit of rattling from the back. There's an X brace that goes back there that was rattly, and we tried to rivet it. Riveting worked for about a half hour, so when I go back, we're gonna weld it. Also, to go back, this is a 1988 Mustang LX. It was a California Highway Patrol car until '94. It was originally an automatic, and it was originally gray. There's almost nothing left of this car that's original except the dashboard, the headliner, which is still properly jacked up from its police use. I want to leave that. And a couple of the body panels, but that's about it. The turn-in now is amazing. I mean, with 295 tires in the front and the complete Terminator steering system, it turns in like an Evo or something. On center, it's just brilliant. It corners super flat. You know, I don't want to use the tired-ass cliche of it drives like a brand new car, because it doesn't. New cars feel different. Big rock. New cars feel different. What it is it drives like I'd imagine an 80s Trans Am car would feel. Just an unbelievable amount of grip, unbelievable amount of steering feel. Brakes are extremely effective. If I'm honest, the pedal is actually a little too sensitive for my taste. I may try and find a way to dial back the sensitivity of the brake pedal. Oh, we've already caught someone. That didn't take long. Maybe they'll let us by. These Recaro seats are the Profi XLs. They are extremely comfortable. Oh, great. Extremely comfortable for me. They're at the right position. BBi had to do some finagling with the brackets to keep me from being too gangster lean. You know, I like to sit up a little more upright for my back. What I love about this car is, compared to a brand new car, it's little. It is a little car with a big motor in it. The visibility in all directions is just brilliant. Another truck? No! And of course, I mean, exhaust leak aside, I just love the sound it makes. The headers that cracked are BBK shorties, but I have a Trick Flow H-pipe as well as a Flowmaster catback, which I got for free. I like how it sounds. People ask me why H-pipe and not an X-pipe. No real reason other than my car in high school had an H-pipe and I wanted it to sound like that one. Same reason I didn't put a Coyote motor or something in this car. I wanted it to sound like the sound I remembered from high school. The Hurst short shifter is really good, really crisp. Oh, rocks. Oh, rocks. I actually would like to get some rock chips on this car. I don't want it to look, it looks a little too new right now. The grip at the front, I mean, when you're running 295 front tires, you know you're going to have a lot of grip up there, but it's even better than I expected. The only thing you really have to worry about is catching ruts in the road. With a tire this wide, some roads with wonky camber or ruts in them can be kind of a two hands on the wheel experience, so to speak. We all know I could be going faster, but like I said, this drive is really more about suspension, brakes, feel than it is power. I know the engine works fine. I just want to get that thing fixed. God, it rained and there's just a lot of shit on the roads. The other road I was on was clean. The clutch is very easy. You know, this car looks tough, but it's actually really easy to drive around LA. It doesn't beat you up. It rides just beautifully on the freeway with the independent rear suspension. I haven't even really talked about that much. There's a lot of options for rear suspensions for Mustangs. There's Watts Link, Griggs type stuff, upgraded panhard bars. Those to me are functional, but I wanted to do something that was a little bit next level. So it's not even like we just bolted in the IRS, it's a fully built IRS. And it's so planted at the back. No, that Mustang hop that I always talk about in videos and that everyone always talks about really is just completely gone. There's none of it left. And now this thing just, I hate to say it, you know, it rides European. The inputs are just really, really good. The steering before was so sloppy. Now it's very crisp. It's not overly heavy. It's still pretty light because the The steering rack from the 04 Terminator that I used, it doesn't change the ratio, it just changes the valving of it to give you a better steering feel. Radiator works, engine's running ice cold right now, 180 degrees. It's beautiful. I can't even begin to tell you just how happy this car makes me. I mean, to have a car that looks and sounds like my dream car from high school, you know, but drives like I like to drive now, with grip, with feel, with momentum. It's just a really wonderful thing. And these Mustangs are, here we go, dip. Oh, not like nothing. They're like Lego sets, these cars. You can make anything you want out of one. Oh, I love the way it gets around a corner. I'm not really going at it super hard because around any one of these corners, yep, could be a giant boulder that would just wreck the car. You heard that backfire. That was from the cracked header, actually. I imagine it was popping a big flame into my engine bay, and that's why I'm trying to keep everything in one piece. But this is what you do, you know, you get it sorted to the best you can, you go put miles on it, and then you do it all over again, and you repeat until all of a sudden there's no issues left to sort, and then your car is done. And not before then, as we've learned too many times on Tuned, and we will not learn again. But I'm glad you guys could come for a ride with me today while I sort this stuff out. These gauges I got from Florida 5.0, they're great. It's just a drop-in gauge pack with the auto meter gauges, ultra lights. Back of Mulholland's nice. It's usually pretty quiet over here. Well, there you have it. So far, I mean, I'm really pleased with this car. Of course, it's a little frustrating when, you know, you fix one thing and the next thing breaks, and you fix that and the next thing breaks. But, you know, that's part of building a project car, and so we're getting there. It's not quite done, but it is well on its way, and 95%. It's 95% there. And I'm stoked. Go check out my WheelWell page, and I have literally taken the time to list every part on the car, along with links to where you can buy them for your cars. And so check that out on my WheelWell. And I promise you, the reason I haven't been making videos is because all this stuff takes a long time. When it's done and when I can make a video, I will have a video. It is very high on my priority list. Don't worry. See you guys soon.